Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. My name is Vasis Mahapatra and you're watching Worldwide Programmer. Before starting this tutorial, do subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Let's start the tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll discuss about the network devices in network communication. So what is network devices? Network devices are networking hardware or physical devices that are required for communication and interaction between hardware on a computer network. The network devices are playing an important role in network communication. Each device has different role. The first one is hub. What is hub? A hub is a networking device that allows you to connect multiple PCs to a single network. It is used to connect segments of a local area network. A hub stores various ports, so when a packet arrives at one port, it is copied to various other ports. Hub works as a common connection point for devices in a network. Hubs connect multiple computer networking devices together. A hub also acts as a repeater in that it amplifies signals that after traveling long distances over connecting cables. A hub is the simplest in the family of network connecting devices because it connects LAN components with identical protocols. It can be used with both digital and analog data, provided its settings have been configured to prepare for the formatting of the incoming data. For example, if the incoming data is in digital format, the hub must pass it on as packets. However, if the incoming data is analog, then the hub passes it on in signal form. Hubs do not perform packet filtering or addressing functions. They just send data packets to all connected devices. Hubs operate at the physical layer of the Open System Interconnections or OSI model. There are two types of hubs are there. You can say a simple and multiple port. A hub is a small network device that joins multiple computers that we discussed or other network devices that together to form a single network segment. On this network segment, all computers can communicate directly with each other. Ethernet hubs are by far the most common type, but hubs for other types of networks such as USB also exist. A hub includes a series of ports that each accept a network cable. One port is reserved for uplink connections to another hub or similar devices. Similarly, all the ports identify the data path which leads to wastage. Because of this working, a network hub cannot be so safe and secure. In addition, copying the data packets on all the ports will make the hub slower, which leads to the utilize of the network switch. So types of hub. There are two types of hub, active hub and passive hub. So what is active hub? These hubs have their own power supply and these hubs are used to clean, increase and transmit the signal using the network. It works as a wiring center and repeater. Active hubs play a key role in extending the distance between nodes. Active hub is a kind of hub which have their own power supply. It can be improved and relay the signal along with the network. It works as a repeater as well as a wiring center. They are also used as an extension for two or more nodes. Next one is passive hub. These hubs collects wiring from the power supply and different nodes of an active hub. These hubs transmit the signals over the network without improving and cleaning them. These hubs are not suitable for extending the distance between nodes like an active hub. Passive hubs relay signals into the network without cleaning and boosting them. It cannot be used to extend the distance between nodes. Features of hubs. So here are important features of hub, and these are: it works with broadcasting and share bandwidth. It has one broadcast domain and one collision domain. Works at the physical layer of the OSI model. A virtual LAN can be created using a hub. It provides support for half duplex transmission mode. A hub has just a single broadcast domain. It doesn't support a spanning tree protocol. And the last one is packet collisions occur mostly inside a hub. Then application of hub. The important application of networking hub are given below, and those are: hubs are used in organizations for connectivity. They are used for creating a small home networks. It is used for networking monitoring, and you can create a device or peripheral which is available throughout the network. Then the last one is advantages and disadvantages of hub. If we talk about advantages of hub, the first advantage is it offers shared internet scalability or uplink. It allows network monitoring. Next one is it provides backward compatibility, and the last one is it helps you to extend the total distance of the network. If we talk about the disadvantages of hub, first one is it's mostly half duplex. It doesn't offer dedicated bandwidth. It cannot select network based path. There is no mechanism of any kind to reduce network traffic. Possibility of the device differentiation and its network size. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of hub. Next one is switch. Network switch is a small hardware device that joins multiple computers together within one local area network or LAN. Just like similar to hub, this is also working at the layer in the local area network, and a switch is more clever compared with a hub. Network switch is a computer networking device that connects various devices together on a single network or computer network. It may also be used to route information in the form of electronic data sent over the networks. Since the process of linking network segments is also called bridging, switches are usually referred to as bridging devices. Network switches operate at layers 2 called data link layer of the OSI model. Whenever a data packet is obtained from the interface in the switch, then the data packets can be filtered and transmit to the interface of the proposed receiver. Due to this reason, a switch maintains a content addressable memory table to maintain system configuration as well as memory. This table is also named as forwarding information base, otherwise forwarding table. Network switches appear nearly identical to network hops, but a switch generally contains more intelligence and a slightly higher price tag than a hub. Using switches improves network efficiency over hubs or routers because of the virtual circuit capability. Switches Also improves network security because the virtual circuits are more difficult to examine with network monitors. You can think of a switch as a device that has some of the best capabilities of routers and hubs combined. A switch can work at either the data link layer or the network layer of the OSI model, as I said, because that switch is one that can operate at both layers, which means that it can operate as both a switch and a router. A multi-layer switch is a high performance device that supports the same routing protocols as routers. Unlike hubs, switches are capable of inspecting data packets as they are received, determining the source and destination devices of each packet, and forwarding them appropriately. By delivering messages only to the connected devices, switches conserves network bandwidth and offers generally better performance than a hub. Switches can be connected to each other, so it can be subject to distributed denial of services or DDoS attacks. Cloud guards are used to prevent malicious traffic from bringing the switch to a halt. Switch port security is important, so be sure that to secure switches, disable all unused ports and use DHCP snooping and ARP inspection and MAC addressing filtering. Types of switch. If we talk about types of switch, then there are two types of switch. One is manageable switch and another one is unmanageable switch. So what is the manageable switches? Manageable switch has a console port and IP address which can be assigned and configured. Manageable switch or managed switch vary greatly in their features and functionality. For example, some managed switches are targeted to gamers for use at home, while others are targeted to large enterprises for use on corporate networks. One of the most important aspects of manageable switch is the ability to create virtual local area networks or VLANs. Other popular managed switch features include quality of service to prioritize certain types of traffic and a spanning tree protocol or STP to prevent network loops. Manageable switches can be either layer 2 or layer 3 switches. Next switch is unmanageable switch. If we talk about unmanageable switch, it simply provide layer 2 switching of Ethernet frames. They don't offer any additional management or configuration features. Switches that provide power over Ethernet functionality can provide both network connectivity and power to connected devices. For example, it's common to power voice over IP or PoIP phones using PoE switches or power over Ethernet. Power over Ethernet switches can be layer 2 or layer 3 switches and can be managed or unmanaged. An unmanageable switch configuration cannot be made. It is not possible to assign IP address as there is no console port. If we talk about features of switch, here are important features of switch, and there are it is a data link layer device or layer 2 device. It works with a fixed bandwidth. It maintains a MAC address table, allows you to create virtual LAN. It works as a multi-port bridge. mostly comes with 24 to 48 ports. And last one is it supports half and full duplex transmission modes. These are the features of switch. The application of switch. These are the some application of switch, and those are: a switch helps you to manage the flow of data across the network. Medium to large sized local area networks containing a number of link managed switches. Switches are widely used in small office or home office applications. Small office or home office mostly uses a single switch to access the various broadband services. It is used in a computer network to connect the devices together physically. A switch can transfer data to any of the other devices either using half duplex mode or full duplex mode. If we talk about advantages and disadvantages of switch, so advantages of switches are: it helps you to reduce the number of broadcast domains. Next one is supports virtual local area networks that can help in logical segmentation of ports. And the last one is switches can make use of CAM table for port to MAC mapping. And the disadvantages of switch are not as good as a router for limiting broadcasts. Next one is communication between VLANs requires inter-VLAN routing, but these days there are many multi-layer switches available in the market. Handling multicast packets that requires quite a bit configuration and proper designing. The last one is reduces the number of broadcast domains. The next one is router. What is a router? A network router is one kind of network device in a computer network, and it is used for routing traffic from one network to another. These two networks could be private to a public company network. Routers provide connectivity inside enterprises, between enterprises and internet, and within an ISP or internet service provider. For example, here a router is considered a traffic police at the junction. It directs dissimilar traffic networks to dissimilar directions. It helps transmit packets to their destinations by charting a path through the sea of interconnected networking devices. Routers are intelligent devices, of course, and they store information about the networks they are connected to. Most routers can be configured to operate as packet filtering firewalls and use access control lists. In routers, conjunctions with a channel service unit or data service unit are also used to translate from local area network farming to wide area network farming. This is needed because local area networks and wide area networks use different network, and such routers are also known as border routers. They just serve as the outside connections of a local area network to a wide area network, and they operate at the border of your network. Routers are also used to divide internal networks into two or more subnetworks. It can also be connected internally to other routers, creating zones that operate independently. It establishes communication by maintaining tables about destinations and local connections. The router contains information about the systems connected to and where it to send request if the destination isn't known. It is usually communicate routing and other information using one of three standard protocols like routing information protocol, border gateway protocol, and open shortest path fast. It's called OSPF. Routers are your first line of defense, and they must be configured to pass only traffic that is authorized by network administrations. The routers themselves can be configured as static or dynamic. If they are static, they can only be configured manually and stay that way until it's changed. If they are dynamic, they learn of other routers around them and use information about those routers to build their routing tables. Routers are general purpose devices that are interconnected to or more heterogeneous networks. They are usually dedicated to special purpose computers with separate input and output networks interfaces for each connected network. Because routers and gateways are the backbone of large computer networks like the internet, they have special features that give them the flexibility and the ability to uh, cope with varying network addressing schemes and frame sizes through segmentation of big packets into smaller sizes that fit the new network components. Each router interfaces has its own address resolution protocol, or it's called in short from ARP, and its own local area network address and its own internet protocol or IP address. The router, with the help of routing table, has a knowledge of router's packets could take from its source to its destination. The routing table, like in the average and switch, grows dynamically. Upon the receipt of a packet, the router removes the packet headers and trailers, and the analyzes the internet protocol or IP header by determining the source and destination addresses and data type, and nothing the arrival time. It also updates the router table with new addresses not already in the table. The internet protocol or IP header and the arrival timing information is entered in the routing table. It normally works at the network layer of the OSI model. Routers are computers networking devices that serve two primary functions. One is create and maintain a local area network, and the next one is manage the data entering and leaving the network, as well as data moving inside the network. It also helps you to handle multiple networks and routes network traffic between them. In your home network, your router has one connection to the internet and one connection to your private local network. Moreover, many routers also contain built-in switches that allow you to connect multiple OI devices. So if we talk about the main features of router, then it operates at a layer 3 or a network layer of the OSI model. Router works with static routing manually configured by network administrator. Like I said that router works with dynamic routing, which routers calculate automatically by difference method. It stores calculate path in his routing table, and the network router will be then use its routing table to make intelligent decisions about which packets to copy to which of its interfaces. The router will use the information to create a routing table, of course, and this process is known as routing. So application of router. These are the application of router. The first one is creates a local area network or LAN. It allows you to split your internet connection to all of your devices, connect different media or devices with each other. Next one is run a firewall. Next one is the routers determine where to send information from one computer to another. packets forwarding, switching and filtering. Next one is a router also makes sure that information does make it to the intended destination. And the last one is connect to a virtual private network or VPN. If we talk about how router works, then a router connects multiple networks and tracks network traffic between them. It has one connection to the internet and one connection to your private local network. Moreover, many routers contain built-in switches that allow you to connect multiple wired devices. Many routers also contain wireless radios that allows you to connect Wi-Fi devices. Advantages and disadvantages of router. If we talk about the advantages of router, then the first point is it helps to share a network connection with multiple machines that increases productivity. Second advantage is a router allows delivering the packets of data in an organized way, which helps to lower the data load. Next one is router offers a steady and reliable connection between network hosts. Next advantage is routers make use of the alternative paths in case the main path fails to transfer data packets. If we talk about the advantages, these are the advantages. If we talk about the disadvantages of router, then those disadvantages are first one is the connections can become slow when multiple computers are using a network. This situation is described as a connection wait. And the last one is a router helps multiple computers to share the same network, which may lower the speed. Next we will discuss about proxy. So what is a proxy? In communication, a proxy is something that acts as a server, but when given request from clients, it acts itself as a client to the real servers. Consider talking to somebody who speaks a foreign language through a translator. You talk to the translator who receives your statements, then regenerates something else completely to the other end. The translator serves as your proxy. Then here is the key point: the communication terminates at the proxy. In other words, the proxy doesn't forward data so much as it tears it completely apart. So next one is a firewall. So what is a firewall? A system designed to prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network. It can be implemented in both hardware and software, or a combination of both. Firewalls are frequently used to prevent unauthorized internet users from accessing private networks connected to the internet, especially intranets. All messages entering or leaving the intranet pass through the firewall, which examines each message and blocks those that do not meet the specified security criteria. So we'll discuss some types of firewalls techniques. So this is the first technique, packet filter. You have a question on your mind that we use that word in previous. So what is a packet filter? It means each packet entering or leaving the network and accepts or rejects it based on users defined rules. Packets filtering is fairly effective and transparent to users, but it is difficult to configure. In addition, it is up to internet protocol spoofing. Next technique is application gateway. It applies security mechanism to specific applications such as file transfer protocol or FTP and telnet servers. This is a very effective but can impose a performance degradation. Next one is circuit level gateway. Means it applies a security mechanism when a transmission control protocol or TCP or UDP connection is established. Once the connection has been made, packets can flow between the hosts without further checking. And the last technique is proxy server. Proxy server means it intercepts all messages entering and leaving the network. The proxy server effectively hides the true network addresses. In practice, firewalls use 2 or more of these techniques in concert. A firewall is considered a first line of defense in protecting private information. For greater security, data can be encrypted. So these are the types of firewall techniques. Next is access point. What is access point? Operating at layer 2 access point APs, also known as wireless access point. These are the network switches of the wireless world. Wireless access points connects to a local area network through a wired connection and allow other Wi-Fi devices to communicate. The networks created by WLANs or wireless local area networks. At high level, there are actually 3 main types of access points. First one is PAT access point. PAT access points are also known as autonomous access point. PAT access point directly handle the forwarding of traffic from their Wi-Fi radios to the wired network. These wireless local area network have interfaces where you can access and configure things like access control list, Wi-Fi encryption, server functionality, and it's directly upsided. The upside of PAT access point is that they are an all in the solution, in that they have everything you need to configure and manage the device backed in. Next one is thin access point. These access points don't offer the full functionality of an autonomous access point. Instead, they backhaul Wi-Fi traffic to a centralized wireless local area network or WLAN controller that handles all the forwarding and functionality of a PAT access point would do on its own. While the limited functionality of thin access point has some trade-offs, this centralized approach to this management can make large-scale deployments easier to manage. And the last one is FIT access point. So these wireless access points offer a mix of fat and thin access point functionality. For example, most fat access point will handle Wi-Fi encryption at the access point level instead of waiting until the traffic gets back to the controller, and may offer services like relay, but a centralized controller will be used for things like bridging, forwarding traffic between wired and wireless network. So there are the 3 main types of access point. Then we'll discuss about bridge. A network bridge or bridge reads the outermost section of data on the data packet. To tell where the message is going, only the overmost hardware address of the packet. Bridges are used to connect 2 or more host or network segments together. The basic role of bridges in network architecture is storing and forwarding frames between the different segments that the bridge connects. They use hardware media access control address and for transferring frames. By looking at the media access control addresses of the devices, connected to each segment. Bridges can forward the data or block it from crossing. It can also be used to connect to physical local area networks and a larger local or a logical local area network. Bridges work only at the physical and data link layer of the OSI model. Bridges are used to divide longer networks into smaller sections by sitting between two physical network segments and managing the flow of data between the two. Bridges are like hops in many respects, including the fact that they connect local area network components with identical protocols. However, bridges filter incoming data packets known as frames for addresses before they are forwarded. As it filters the data packets, the bridge makes no modification to the format or content of the incoming data. The bridge filter and forward frame on the network with the help of a dynamic bridge table. The bridge table, which is initially empty, maintains the local area network addresses for each computer in the local area network and the addresses of each bridge interfaces that connects the local area network to other local area networks. Bridges like hops can be either simple or multiple port. In recent years, bridges have mostly fallen out and have been replaced by switches, which offer more functionality. In fact, switches are sometimes referred to multi-port bridges because of how they are operate. And these are also used for connecting to physical local area networks to a larger logical local area network. It works at the data link and physical layers to divide the network forms larger to smaller by controlling the data flow between the two. So traditionally, network bridges were layer 2 devices that often had only two parts like switches. They broke up collisions domains and could reduce network congestion when compared to hops by separating the network into multiple domains. And the network bridge, a device that can connect VLANs at layer 2, a network switch, and a device that can connect to networks using different connection mediums such as connecting wireless LANs or to OLLAN. Features of bridge. If we talk about the main features of bridge, then it reduces the traffic on the other network segments since it doesn't send all packets. Bridges can be programmed to reject packets from particular networks. Bridging occurs at the data link layer of the OSI model and it cannot read internet protocol or IP addresses. It can be read the Ethernet data which gives the hardware addresses of the destination address. Bridges forward all broadcast messages. The next one is modem. Modems or modulators to demodulators are used to transmit digital signals over analog telephone lines. Thus, digital signals are converted by the modem into analog signals of different frequencies and transmitted to a modem at the receiving location. The receiving modem performs the reverse transformation and provides a digital output to a device connected to a modem, usually a computer. The digital data is usually transferred to or from the modem over a serial line through an industry standard interface. Many telephone companies offer DSL services, and many cable operators use modems as end terminals for identification and recognition of home and personal users. Modems work on both the physical and the data link layer. So a modem is the most important network device and it is used daily in our life. If we notice, the internet connection to homes was given with the help of a wire. Then wire carries internet data from one place to another. But every computer keeps digital or binary data in the form of zeros and ones. The full form of the modem is a modulator and a demodulator, like I said. So it modulates as well as demodulates the signal among the computer and a telephone line, because the computer generates digital data whereas the telephone line generates an analog signal. So examples of popular types of modem including analog modems, cable modems, cellular modems, you can say fiber optic modems or XDSL modems, like that. If we talk about functions of modem, function of to be performed at the transmitting end, convert the data zeros and ones into an appropriate analog signal. Next one is perform the line control and signaling to other ends of a phone line. Send the dialing signal if the modem is designed to dial without presence of a user. And the last one is offer protection against line overload and other problems. So these are the functions to be performed at the transmitting end. This is the function to be performed at the receiving end, and those are receiving the analog signal and demodulate them. Next one is put the demodulate into RS-232 format, connect to RS-232 interface. Next one is perform line signaling and control, and the last one is have protection against the overload problem. These are the function to be performed at the receiving end. Next is types of modem. So first one is dial-up modem. Dial-up modem means this type of modem are using the analog telephone line to connect the two end devices like to a personal computer. It offers an interface between the digital system and an analog system. It modulates the binary data into the carrier signal on the telephone line. Next one is DSL modem. DSL model uses twisted pair cable for transmission of signals. It will radiate at higher frequencies and cover more distances than the dial-up modems. It offers to speed up to 2 Mbps and even more, which depends upon the type of configuration. Next one is cable modem. This type of modem is designed in a way to carry radio and television signals. It can be configured internally or externally with the television line to convert the signals into the compatible mode. Next one is mobile broadband modems. It means this type of modem makes use of mobile telephone lines such as GRPS, WiMAX, UMTS, etc. It's also called wireless modems. They are built in a PC or a laptop. They can also be inserted inside the USB port for internet access. Next one is half duplex modem. This type of modem allows you to transmit a signal in one direction at one time. So if the modem is receiving the incoming signal, then it displays indication light to the sending point to stop transmitting data till the time it completes the process of receiving signals. Next one is full duplex modem. It means this type of modem permits transmission in both directions at the same interval of time. These types of modems have two carriers on the line. Next one is 4-wire modem. It means it is a separate pair of wires that is used for the incoming and the outgoing carrier. Therefore, the same frequency can be used for transmission at both ends. And the last one is 2-wire modem. This type of modem uses a pair of wires for both incoming and outgoing carriers. However, if we are using the half duplex mode, then the same frequency can be used transmission as data flows in the same direction only at a time. So these are the types of modems. We talk about advantages and disadvantages of modem. So advantages of modem are more useful in connecting local area network with the internet. Next one is speed depends on the cost. The last advantage is the modem is the most widely used data communication roadway. And the disadvantages of modem are first one is a slow speed when compared to the half. Next disadvantages is acts as an interface between local area network and internet. It doesn't offer any traffic maintenance. And the last disadvantages is main drawback of a modem is speed. If you spend more money, you get more speed. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of modem. So if we talk about how modem works, simply the modem connects with internet service provider or ISP that offers either cable or DSL internet service. The copper wires travel from your property to a neighborhood node and to your service provider, which may be several miles away. The devices sends and receives an electrical signal with the help of wires using a few megahertz. Next one is repeater. What is a repeater? A repeater is a simple layer 1 device that rebroadcast a signal. Repeaters are sometimes referred to as signal boosters. There are repeaters for Wi-Fi, Ethernet and other network connections, but fundamentally they do the same thing, take a signal in and rebroadcast it. A repeater is an electronic device that amplifies the signal it receives. You can think of a repeater as a device which receives a signal and retransmits it at a higher level or higher power so that the signal can cover longer distances, more than 100 meters for standard local area network cables. Repeaters work on the physical layer. The significant point to be noted regarding these devices is that they do not strengthen the signal. Whenever the signal gets weak, then they produce it at the actual strength. A repeater is two-port device. The last one is gateway. So what is gateway? From a hardware perspective, there is no difference between a gateway and a router. Gateways are simply routers that serve a specific purpose. Gateway are routers that as the default next hop when there is no other route to an IP addresses on a network, the packets get routed to the network's default gateway. From there, the default gateway routes the packets on their next hop and the process repeats until the destination is reached. Generally, a gateway performs at the session and transport layers in the OSI model. Gateways offer conversion between networking technologies like OSI means Open System Interconnection, and TCP/IP, or Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol. Because of these are connected to two or many autonomous networks, where each network has its own domain name service, a routing algorithm, topology protocols, and procedures of network administration and policies. So we covered the networking communication devices such as hub, switch, router, bridge, gateway, modem, repeaters, access point, firewall, proxy in this tutorial. So I hope this tutorial is very useful for you all. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next tutorial. Happy learning.